A new month, and the Mets have yet to lose a series. Welcome in another edition of the Believe in Mets pod. That is Jack McKessie. I am Chris Schubert here talking all things New York Mets. Jack traveling the world. He comes back. The Mets have not lost a series in the month of May. They had a 3-game winning streak in there, and yet they still find a way to annoy us by the time it is all said and done. Jack, how are you, my friend?
Chris, I'm okay. I am feeling good coming back from my travels and seeing the Mets win some games in my return home. But like you said, there's still some frustrations in there among the positivity of two series wins. And when you see the frustrations against the teams that are quote unquote bad, the Mets are a bad team right now, statistically. But the Angels and Rockies, you worry about what that will mean going forward. But we can talk a little bit more about what that means.
Yeah, I mean, for the first time all season, the Mets have won 2 series in a row. I know they lost game 3 of this series against the Rockies and were unable to sweep them. And trust me, that game in and of itself has enough to drive me crazy, probably drives you crazy. But for the first time this season, the Mets have won back-to-back series. Hadn't done that up to this point. And that has kind of been the story of the season, a team that has been unable to string together enough momentum to make you feel like it's real. It's a win here, a win there. Oh, it's 2 wins here, then we'll lose 3 in a row. There's never been enough sustained success to make you think the Mets have put their struggles behind them. And their struggles offensively have been well documented on this podcast, on other podcasts, on the broadcast. I mean, it is a well documented issue that the Mets have with their offense. And they've won 3 of their last 4 series. They win 2 series in a row. They go to Colorado and get a measure of revenge. And you're starting to see some of the signs of some players turning a corner. But I think the bar right now for the Mets is set because of their good starting pitching. And once again, that was on display in this series. David Peterson looked good as the bulk reliever with some openers in front of him. Freddie Peralta threw 5 scoreless, maybe the weirdest 5 scoreless I've seen Freddie Peralta throw. And then even though it was only 4 2/3, Christian Scott, I think, continued to remind us he was a top prospect before Nolan McLean was a top prospect. So the Mets' floor as a team right now is actually higher than you probably think because of the good starting pitching they are getting right now. And they're doing it in very different ways, but they are getting it done in the starting pitching department, and that's allowing them to be in these games.
For sure. I just think the thing that I am concerned about, though, with the starting pitching is just a very similar thing that we saw happening throughout last season, and that's just a lack of length and depth into these games. And the starting pitching, like you mentioned, is very good when they're on the mound. When Freddie Peralta's throwing 5 scoreless, when Christian Scott's going 4 2/3, when David Peterson, even though he's not the official starter, got the bulk relief like you mentioned. It's just that they're not going super deep into those games, and you put some pressure on the bullpen. And we saw a little bit of how that can be an issue in the second game of the series, where Tobias Myers comes in, clearly doesn't have it, and then you have to burn through 4 more relievers, including Shamanaya, who also didn't have it, and then you bring out Devin Williams for a safe situation, and that you start to worry about how that can snowball into worse situations. Now, Nolan McLean and Clay Holmes have had better success getting deeper into games, but that's the one kind of caveat I would say is, yeah, the starting pitching has been really good as far as their strict performance while they're out there, but you'd like to see them take a little bit more pressure off of the bullpen because I don't want to see Craig Kimbrell pitching in a situation like he was pitching in yesterday.
No, and because you've overworked your pen, because you have to use an opener in front of David Peterson, technically 2, because they use Huascar Brazoban and Austin Warren for 9 outs, you sometimes play shorthanded in your bullpen. And I keep going back to the Mets have 3 guys right now, depending on how you classify David Peterson. He's probably still technically a member of the rotation, even though they use openers in front of him. But you have 3 guys that come out of the pen in David Peterson, Tobias Myers, and Sean Manaea that basically all do the same thing. And when you have 3 guys that basically do the same thing, you are going to find yourself in spots like the Mets found themselves in game 3 of this series, where they are shorthanded in the bullpen because they use so many arms. It's a combination of the way it's constructed. It's a combination of David Peterson, we don't trust to be a starter. We trust him to be a bulk reliever. So we need relievers in front of him. So on that day, we know we're going to burn a couple of arms at a minimum. And it's also just, they've got some guys out there that aren't getting it done, and their bullpen construction just doesn't allow them to every single game, or at least most of the time, feel good about the options that they have out there. And so you see Craig Kimbrell come in a tie game where in a vacuum, he wouldn't be anywhere close to touching a tie game. That would be Luke Weaver. That would be Brooks Raley. That would be even Huascar Brazaban. I mean, that's who would be in that spot setting up for Devin Williams. But the Mets can't do that because they have to burn Tobias Myers. They have to burn Sean Manaea. And if Sean Manaea doesn't have it, now we've got to use Devin Williams in a 10-5 game. Now, Devin Williams has 3 straight saves, so he's one of the bright spots coming out of these last 2 series. He's looked the part here as of late as the closer of the team. He's 5 for 6 in save opportunities. Like I mentioned, it's 3 in a row. But Craig Kimbrell did not look good yesterday. Sean Manaea did not look good on, what was that, Wednesday night, Tuesday night, whenever they played.
Yeah.
They have a bullpen problem in the way that it is constructed, and I don't know if they can continue to go along with the bullpen put together the way that it is, or they're going to find themselves in a lot of spots where they don't have the options they want to have late in games.
Yeah, and it's tough because they thought they had some reinforcements coming, and then part of the recent news over the last week is AJ Minter had a setback in his rehab, and so they're resetting the rehab stint clock for him. He had a hip thing pop up again, which is a little bit concerning, and that also throws a wrench into the Mets' plans. I wonder, Chris, how much longer are we going to be waiting for these guys in AAA to come up and be bigger contributors? I know we've seen Austin Warren come up, but I'm talking Dylan Ross, Ryan Lambert. Like, when are we going to see them really contributing?
Well, it's a fantastic question, right? I mean, because I look right now in the way the bullpen is made up, and you feel good. By the way, Tobias Myers, that was the first bad outing he's had all season. I think it's fair to give him a mulligan there. It's fair to say,
especially at Coors,
right? Colorado, it's the first bad outing of the year. See if it gets worse. See if now, mentally he starts to struggle. But him having his first bad outing all season long, for it to be May before we even have this conversation, it's a credit to how good Tobias Myers has been. So I'm not as worried about that as I am. It's been 4 straight outings for Sean Manaea where he just coughs up runs. I mean, he gave up just the 1 run technically in the Colorado outing, but I mean, he got torched by Washington. The A's got to him. He just hasn't been good in his last 4 outings. And so that's a larger sample size, and that's consecutive appearances where Sean Manaea just hasn't had it. And again, I know the Mets have a lot of money sunk into Sean Manaea over the next 2 seasons, but at some point you've got to try to win games. You're 14-23. You're 9 games below 500. You can't just look at the contracts that you have on the books and say, oh, well, we're just stuck with Sean Manaea. Like, no, you've got to put the best 26-man roster out there. And right now, that does not include Sean Manaea. It does not include Craig Kimbrell. AJ Minter, I think, solves one of those problems, but it doesn't solve both of them. And again, until I see it, I'm not sure I believe the Mets are willing to move off of Sean Manaea at the moment. So it just feels like he is going to be out there in that bullpen. And I just wonder, where's the spot? Because you don't trust him in a close game. You've never trusted him in a close game this year, right? That's never been the confidence level in Sean Manaea. So you've now got to find a different way to get him into a game. 10-4 against Colorado felt like the perfect spot to get Sean Manaea in a game to get 3 outs, and he got you 1, and it was a mess. So I can't bring him in a close game. I can't bring him in if we're leading by 1, trailing by 1, because it'll go sideways. And now I can't bring him in a blowout, at least in our favor. Maybe he's the guy that if things go completely south, he comes into a game, but that's a very limited role for somebody that they beat us over the head with. We're trying to keep him stretched out. We're trying to keep him stretched out. We're trying to keep him stretched out. Well, if his role is so thinly defined to we're getting blown out, eat up the innings, that's maybe going to happen once a week. Maybe. He could go 8 to 10 days without seeing the field, and we know the Mets are not going to do that. So It's really fascinating to see what they're going to do. Again, this bullpen is constructed so weirdly right now that it boxes them into a corner. To me, Shawmut is the biggest problem out there right now because it just limits their ability to have an extra arm that can help them
Yeah.
rather than we've got this guy out there that doesn't really fit anything we need, but we can't kick $75 million or what is it, $50 million down the road.
Right. And it's looking like literally the only situation they're comfortable putting him in at this point is a blowout in the other team's favor, where the Mets are down by a zillion and they need someone to just finish the game, essentially. I
Well,
mean, we saw it
got
in the Cubs series where he comes in for Kodai Senga struggling.
he
I'm
got up.
sure that happened previously this last couple of weeks.
He got up in the final in game 3 yesterday against the Rockies after throwing the night before. He was up after Kimbrel blew it. So it felt like
it's just mop up duty for a Mets team that just needs a guy to just go out there and eat it and eat the innings. And that's
again,
not really how you want to construct a bullpen. Is like, that guy is useful to have for sure, but you want to have guys that will help you in more competitive situations as the primary guys who are getting those innings.
Especially when you have somebody else who can do that in Tobias Myers, right? That's where the construction of the bullpen gets a little weird.
Brazoban can go multiple innings if you really need him to.
Austin Warren
can go multiple innings if you need him to. But man, I am getting a little bit worried about the Huascar Brazoban overusage because he looked winded in Colorado yesterday. And I don't know if that's the high altitude, but
I don't know if you said it on the pod or if you texted it to me, and I don't have my phone near me to check, but you said something about Huascar Brazoban being this year's Reed Garrett, and I can't unsee it now since you said it to me that he's just utilized so much.
They're putting him in, and like it's cool and nice to have that super utility man reliever where like he's the opener sometimes and throwing in the first inning. And I mean, we joked about it last season, like he threw every single inning in a game last year. But at some point, like when you're over relying on one guy as good as he's been, like things are going to come to a head. And we saw with Reed Garrett last year that it led to an injury. So I just hope that they're not going to ruin Brazoban because he's been such a huge asset as a Met over the last few years.
I mean, he's thrown the third most innings out of the pen. The only two arms that have thrown more are Tobias Myers and Shawmut. So
I was going to say that Myers and Manaea have to be in front of him.
Yeah. So he's been utilized a lot, especially of the four in the back end. He's thrown more than Raley. He's thrown more than Luke Weaver. By the way, Devin Williams only throwing 11 and 2/3 innings this year. Like, he just has not been used.
I mean, that's what happens when you're losing more games than you're winning at the degree the Mets are losing.
Other good things that came from this series or just in general, how about a 4-hit game for Marcus Semien? And how about the breakout that is underway for Carson Bench? Hitting 313 in his last 7 days, 297 over the last 2 weeks, 261 over the last month. I mean, it is clear as day. The at-bats are better. The results are better. The defense is fantastic. He did fall down. I can't even pronounce the word that Gary used, so I'll let you do it. He fell down in center field. Yes, that allowed Jordan Beck to hit a triple, but he's been stellar otherwise. And it is so needed because the Mets need another constant in this lineup because we can talk about some of the bad stuff that came from this series. The Mets don't have outside of Juan Soto, trying to think of who else I would put in the group of consistent. MJ Melendez.
I was just going to say, it might be MJ Melendez.
And that's about it in terms of consistent bats right now for the Mets. And so Carson Bench becoming one of those consistent bats, and he has certainly been that way over the last 2 weeks. The Mets need that. They need his speed on the bases. They need his defense in the outfield. He hit for power. I mean, in the first game of this series, the Mets scored 4 runs in 1 inning, and that was all their offense, and he got it started with a home run.
And that was the first hit of the game.
Yeah, and after that, they didn't have a hit in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning. So it was literally confined to 1 inning of offense. The breakout is real for him, and the Mets need it in the worst way because they're down Luis Robert, they're down Francisco Lindor, they've now lost Ronnie Mauricio, Jorge Polanco. I saw it on social media that somebody said he's going to be Jed Lowry, and I'm ready to just crawl in a hole.
Lowry never even... He had 1 at-bat as a Met. Like, Polanco's at least had some hits.
So, Jorge Polanco has had 61 plate appearances as a Met. I
Lowry
gotta look.
had like
I
5.
I gotta look at what Jed Lowry had as a
But I mean, to that point, I
8. He
honestly
had eight
forgot that.
8 plate
Yeah,
appearances.
I forgot that Jorge Polanco was part of the equation at this point because it's just been like they've just had to throw together this roster of Andy Ibanez and Austin Slater.
So,
But
okay. Speaking of Andy Ibanez and Austin Slater, I've got a gripe with Carlos
hang
Mendoza.
on. Let me finish the
Okay, sorry.
Carson Bench praise here. It is so encouraging to see not just the at bats and like the average come up, but the power coming through is like it feels like he's finally being the player that he had been in spring training. It feels like the pressure of being in the major leagues. Like this is a argument in favor of letting a guy just figure it out. Like you just keep running him out there, even though the results were not there for the first month and a half of the season. You got to just, especially for a rookie, give him the daily at bats, get him in the daily grind, and eventually he's going to be able to let the pressure off and turn things on. And that's what he's been able to do. My last thought here is I don't know yet if I want him moving up the lineup. I don't want him to feel like he needs to be the Mets' full offense at this point, like maybe a Francisco Alvarez when he was a rookie. Like keep him in that 6 or 7 hole, I think, for now. And then if this keeps continuing, then you could start to boost him up. But like keep the pressure where it is right now. Let him get his feet under him going forward.
I mean, this is way far down the road, and he has to continue to hit, and the Mets have to continue to be healthy. But remember when Nimmo hit leadoff in front of Lindor?
Yes.
I could see a world where Carson Bench has that role on this team, where it's
And I
Bench,
think that's
Lindor,
what they
Soto.
wanted to happen. Like they tried to push the issue in the Cubs series where they had him batting leadoff in front of
Well, I think
Soto.
that was for survival. I mean, they were just trying anything because the offense was so
for sure.
bad.
But I think that like even though it was a throwing crap at the wall and seeing what sticks situation, like I think they still were trying to feel things out. Like maybe this
Sure.
could work if he's able to, be the spark plug, get on base, set up things for Lindor and Soto behind him.
What on earth was this Game 3 lineup? I mean,
this also speaks to the bench conversation. It's like, yeah, it's a lefty pitcher in Quintana. If Carson Bench is one of your most consistent hitters right now, I do not care. Like he has got to be out there instead of Andy Ibanez.
We sat MJ Melendez and Carson Bench because we were facing Jose Quintana.
Two out of the 3 most consistent hitters that we just pointed out.
There's just no world where that is an acceptable outcome. Like I tweeted after the lineup came out that it just felt like being analytically driven just for the sake of being analytically driven. Like you're not facing Tarek Skubal. You don't have a bunch like Austin Slater is good against lefties. He's not Babe Ruth against lefties. Like he's not an all-time great against left-handed hitters. He's not Shohei Ohtani against right-handed batters. Like he's Austin Slater. Like no offense to Austin Slater, he has a role on this team, but like we cannot be giving away at bats to Andy Ibanez, to Vidal Brujan, to Austin Slater, and say, yeah, you Brett Beatty, you just sit down. Like if guys are going to, if Melendez. But this is more for Benj and Beatty because they're younger players. If those guys are going to have success against lefties, you have to find opportunities to challenge them against lefties. And so if that was Tarek Skubal yesterday, if that was Garrett Crochet yesterday, I can understand, you know what? This is a rookie, lefty on lefty. We're just feeding outs to Tarek Skubal. We're not going to do that. It was Jose Quintana at Coors Field. What are we doing? You are 8 games below 500. You treated yesterday, after winning the first 2 games of the series, like you had a 15-game lead in the NL East in August, and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to get some guys some days off. We're going to play the matchups. Like, I'm the biggest baseball nerd there is, okay? I pour over StatCast data unlike anybody else. This is just doing something for the sake of doing something. Oh, we got a lefty out there, so Austin Slater, you're in. Like, I'm sorry, the at-bats cannot be going to Austin Slater and Andy Ibanez and Vidal Brujan because, oh, by the way, none of them have done really much of anything. I know they were kind of the offense in the game yesterday, but in general, like, I'm sorry, get me Carson Bench at-bats, please.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's frustrating to see the Mets seemingly take the approach of, all right, we won this series. We're up 2-0 in the series against Colorado. Let's just take a day off. Let's let the altitude do its thing. Let the guys who have been up and trying so hard, MJ Melendez and Carson Bench, let's give them a day off. Let's give Brett Beatty a day off because Jose Quintana, fireball lefty. Let's just take the day off.
lefty.
It's aggravating because it's like these are not games you should be giving up. Like this is the easier part of the Mets schedule in theory, where the Rockies have a similar record to the Mets right now, but like that means they're a worse team. You have to take advantage of those games, those matchups, and win every single possible game that you can, so that the Mets don't have any breathing room, but so you give less slack to the teams in front of you in the standings. It's just so frustrating to see the lineup they trotted out yesterday.
You know what's also frustrating? Francisco Alvarez hitting in the double plays.
Oh my goodness.
He's up to, I think it's double digits now, isn't it?
Him and Mark Vientos.
I have them both of my notes under the section that's titled The Bad. I have the good and the bad. Mark Vientos, Francisco Alvarez under the bad category.
And then a third, can I throw a third thing in there? I don't know
Sure,
how many
please.
things you have on that list. The lack of situational hitting with runners in scoring position. Twice in this series, the Mets had triples with one out, and they didn't get the guy home. 2 times. It was MJ Melendez in the second game of the series, and Juan Soto hitting a ball off the top of the wall.
You got to pick up the phone. It's 2025, Colin. 2025 Mets.
It's so
calling
bad.
again.
It's so bad. Like you get this perfect situation. We have a guy on third base with one out because of a MJ Melendez, a hero of the Mets, and then Juan Soto, and like they've been hitting in the meat of your lineup. You have guys behind him that should be getting them in.
Well, and this goes to Alvarez on the double plays. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but how many of the double plays feel like they're just in huge spots where the Mets are trying to put together something, and it just immediately Francisco Alvarez
10 or 11 this year? It feels like at least 7 or 8 of them have been in massive situations. Like it's been.
He's on pace for like 40.
Yeah,
that would be a Mets record. And I don't know what to do. Like Francisco Alvarez feels like he's going to enter the category of like never reaching his potential. Like, and I'm almost there with him.
Yeah. I mean, he's a frustrating player because similarly to how Brett Beatty has kind of been this season, you see the little flashes of how awesome he can be with some of the swings that he takes and some of the hot streaks that he can go on. But then he has these slumps where it's so detrimental to the team that it just is aggravating to watch. And I liked the idea in the past of having him or Luis Torrens DH and the other one catch to just get both of them in the lineup. But I mean, it's you never know what you're going to get with a Francisco Alvarez at bat. And you can bet like a third of the time at this point it's going to be a double play.
Francisco Alvarez leads the majors with 10 double plays grounded into. I mean, that's just...
It feels like it.
Bichette is 4th with 6, by the way. He's the other guy. He's the other guy that
bad.
Just in some tough spots this year just grounds into a double play.
Yeah.
And then Mark Vientos like has the 2 RBI double and smokes the ball all 4 times up in the first game of this series, and then the rest of the 2 games does nothing.
Yeah.
And you missed this. You were gone for this. He's been better with this as of late. But he was the king of burning challenges for the Mets early in games. Like, just burning them.
Ugh. I did not love the challenge situation over this past series either, by the way. Like, some that just didn't make sense.
Well,
I mean,
yesterday,
mostly by the Rockies, but...
Yesterday, both teams got to the 9th inning without challenges in their back pocket. Like, that, there can't be a game theory where that's the right decision. To not have it.
And they like burned through their mound visits in the third game of the series.
The Mets have really been doing a lot of that this year. This is not the first time where they've shown the mound visits remaining and the Mets are at 0 and you're like, it's the 5th inning. What are we doing? Like, how are we going to get through the rest of the game?
It's not good.
One note before we get out of here. AJ Ewing's going to really force a tough conversation for the Mets here in a second. Walk-off hit. We're recording this Friday morning, Thursday night. Walk-off hit for him in Syracuse. He got promoted a couple weeks ago, and he has done nothing but crush the baseball.
Yeah,
like
it's really
crushed
encouraging.
The baseball.
Yeah, it's not like Ryan Clifford, who came up from Double A and has struggled a little bit. Like he is he is doing real well, real quick. It feels very similar to what Benj was last year, where he's just kind of rocketing up the prospect rankings because of how well he's played. And you mentioned Ewing. I also saw Jack Wenninger, the pitcher in AAA, has been playing pretty well as well. I
He
wonder,
started the game last night,
yeah, and
and
he
5
threw
scoreless, I
5 or
think.
6 scoreless.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
really good last night.
so
In 33 at bats, 37 plate appearances for AJ Ewing down in AAA so far. He's hitting 364. He's drawn 4 walks. He's only struck out 3 times. Just to get a little nerdy for everybody, his strikeout rate is 96th percentile. His chase rate is 95th percentile. His whiff rate is 95th percentile. His barrel rate is 87th percentile. He's not hitting the ball super hard. It's above average exit velo. It's not like elite exit velo, but he doesn't swing. He makes really good swing decisions. He doesn't swing a bunch out of the zone. He makes contact inside the zone, and it has led to some just excellent results. And it just you're getting to a point where if we're giving it bats to Ibanez, if we're giving it bats to
Austin Slater,
if we're giving it bats to Vidal Brujan, I'm sorry, you've got a top 10 prospect in the system who's doing nothing but tearing the cover off the ball, can play some really solid defense. I mean, he's made a couple of outstanding plays in center field. And so if you want to keep Soto in left, if you want to keep Benj in right, if you want to have guys in spots every single day, you can call up AJ Ewing and he can play center field for you. Now, I think the Mets probably are not wanting to do that because they are hoping to get Luis Robert back here sooner rather than later. But
Yeah.
I'll say this, Soto DHing wouldn't be the worst thing in the world right now with him coming back from this injury. So you can just play Ewing in the field and have Soto DH. It's not like the Mets right now with their current roster makeup have too many guys for the 9 spots. It's in fact the opposite. They don't have 9 hitters that you trust right now. So, yeah,
the thing about the way the Mets roster is constructed is like with Robert, who's presumably coming back hopefully soon, they have a lot of outfielders even without Slater and Ibanez, like MJ Melendez, Soto, Beatty, you've been throwing out in the outfield to get him at bats and in the lineup, Tyrone Taylor, and then you throw in Ewing, Benj. Like, we've talked about how it seems like David Stearns and, Mike Tauchman, a guy that just popped in my head, another outfielder that the Mets are hoping will eventually come back. But we talked about how David Stearns has seemed to not want to push a prospect or bring a prospect up to the majors and have them in a situation where they're eventually going to get demoted. Like a guy like Carson Benj, a guy like AJ Ewing, these are the guys you want to bring up and have them get consistent run every day and be a part of the major league roster like daily, in the lineup daily, rather than they're kind of a platoon bat like Luis Angel Acuna. You kind of are manipulating.
Switch hitter. Luis Angel Acuna.
You kind of are manipulating when they're hitting. For Ewing, for Benj, you want them playing every day. We've seen it for Benj already this year. I just don't know how much Ewing will get that same kind of run because of the Luis Robert, Juan Soto, Melendez, Mike Tauchman, Tyrone Taylor of it all.
By the way, just a quick note here, because I literally clicked on social media and I clicked on Twitter right before we signed off. We were talking about how great some guys are down in AAA. Ryan Lambert, a scoreless inning last night for Syracuse, 3 strikeouts in 1 inning, hit 99 miles an hour. Shout out to Mike Mayer, who does a great job covering the Mets prospects. That's where I'm getting this from. Dylan Ross hit 98 last night, and he had a scoreless inning with a strikeout. And Mike very accurately points out on social media, Ryan Lambert, Dylan Ross, probably better options than Craig Kimbrell right now. And couldn't agree more. Those two guys.
Are the 2 guys I said by name at the beginning of this episode.
And by the way, we talked about them in spring as they may not make the team, but like they're right there. They're knocking on the door if you need. And by the way, the Mets as a team don't have like Huascar Brazaban, and that's about it that throw that hard.
Yeah.
Like, Devin doesn't throw that hard. Luke Weaver doesn't throw that hard. I mean, Brooks Raley's 400 years old, and he doesn't throw it that hard. I love Brooks, but he's a flamethrower.
No, yeah, the Mets bullpen has been about stuff and control rather than speed and getting after you. And you saw like how effective the speed guy could be with Christian Scott using his fastball so effectively in the 3rd game of the series.
It's fun. The start in Anaheim and then this start, just a reminder. I almost texted you the Christian Scott reminds everybody game. Like it felt like it was that. Now he only went 4 2/3, so it can't fully be that.
Yeah.
But
He is so close. It's every start though. He is so close to it being like a phenomenal like gem of a start. It feels like 2024 again, where he's getting that to the fourth inning, he's getting into the fifth inning, and then it's like he hits a wall or starts giving up walks.
And we have to
Hits.
remember, he has not started a lot at the big league level. He lost a full season because of Tommy John. So this is to be expected.
He was on a pitch count, yeah.
Right. And so there's a world where like Clay Holmes, Nolan McLean, Freddie Peralta, Christian Scott, like you feel really good about those four guys taking the ball for you, and you just need the offense to kind of get healthy and pick it up here a little.
That's the thing. It's like those guys in the rotation. You've got Ross and Lambert presumably on the way. AJ Minter presumably on the way. You start to feel really good about the pitching and the ceiling that the floor and the ceiling are raised from the pitching.
And this is why you don't give away games by playing Andy Ibanez and Austin Slater.
You gotta have the lineup playing better than their absolute floor right now. And if they're able to do that with the pitching being able to stay consistent, we saw in 2025 how the Mets relied too heavily on some surprise performances from the pitching staff and how it burned them. If they're able to get that pitching success sustained over the course of the season, if they're able to get the lineup hitting above their floor, their absolute floor from guys like Bichette, Francisco Alvarez, etc., Mark Vientos, you're going to have a much better looking team come summer, and it gives you reason to hope that this team can actually turn things around and be competitive.
It is a 3-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks starting tonight. Let's give you the pitching probables. I believe it is Nolan McLean and Clay Holmes going in the first 2 games of the series.
And David Peterson is who Fangraphs had in the third game.
Well, we know how this is going to go. It's going to be Huascar Brazoban and Austin Ward opening up for him.
Yes.
Maybe Tobias Myers opens it up for him. You could do that as well.
Sure.
Nolan McLean against Ryan Nelson, Clay Holmes against Merrill Kelly, and then David Peterson against Eduardo Rodriguez. The story for the Diamondbacks is they have not been able to pitch. They have not gotten length from their rotation, although this week they've gotten it. They've gotten 6+ from all of their starters. But in general, their problem is their starters have not been able to go deep into games, and their offense has been a roller coaster. They have not been able to score at a decent clip. So you're not facing. This is not the Arizona team that you faced earlier in the season where you lost 2 of 3 to them, where they were red hot and playing some really good baseball. This is a team that's kind of swimming upstream a little bit, just like you are. And so two of these 3 games, again, we talk about continuing to just stack series wins. Can we win a Nolan McLean start? We're like 1-5 in McLean starts this year. Can we find a way to win the Nolan McLean start, please? Please.
Yeah. I mean, you have to feel really good about the starting pitching matchups in at least the first 2 games of the series.
Petey's been good as the bulk reliever.
Yes,
if they do that, it's been fine.
These are 2 of your most consistent depth, strong outing guys in Nolan McLean against Ryan Nelson, who has struggled this year, and then Clay Holmes against Merrill Kelly, who has also struggled this year. Eduardo Rodriguez has been
their ace.
Quite good.
Yeah, he's been their ace.
And so you feel a little bit less good about the Peterson-Rodriguez of it all. But the first 2 games of the series, I mean, you gotta win those games, at least one of them going into the finale.
Well, I don't want to get ahead of it, but I just looked at Freddie Peralta, Christian Scott, and Nolan McLean starting the 3 games of the Tiger series, and I got really excited.
And no Tarek Skubal.
No Tarek Skubal. You got a day off in between to get everybody, and you're back home. I mean, you take 2 out of 3 here from Arizona, and you win 3 straight series going into that Tiger series. Oh, you start to feel a lot better about things.
Yeah, and the Subway series coming up after that.
Yeah, here we go.
That's down the road.
Here we go. This is how you build yourself up, and then they lose 4-2 tonight, and just right back in the pit of misery.
Chris, come on, we gotta believe they're gonna pull through in these first 2 games of the series against the Diamondbacks.
We are back with an episode on Monday breaking down this series. Also, little programming note, we're going to do something a little different. We've got the recap series that's going to come out, the recap episode, but we're also going to do a preview series, a little scouting report. So Jack may join us, and we're working out the scheduling here a little bit, but we are going to be joined by the Believe in Tigers host, the guy who hosts the Tiger Show for Believe, and we'll get a preview of the Tigers. So you don't just have to hear us talk about them, you'll also hear from the opposition, and we'll do that probably through the remainder of the season when we can. We'll reach out into our Believe contacts to talk about the other teams that are coming up on the schedule. Please rate, review, subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening to us. If you're watching us on YouTube, or if you want to watch us on YouTube, Jack McKessie, McKessy, hit that subscribe button. The
Just hit
March
100 subscribers.
the march to 250 subscribers before the All-Star break is on. It's getting close. We need you to help us out. And if you've already subscribed, then you got to get 2-3 friends to subscribe. That's how it works. Okay, we got to get to 250 before the All-Star break. We are back again on Monday to break down this series against the Diamondbacks. Hopefully the Mets can make it 3 straight series wins. And as always, let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.